Credit repair. You see it everywhere. And you decided, hey, I want to fix my credit. I have some items on there. I'm ready to fix it. But you're thinking about using an individual or a company. Here's some of the things to understand. First, what is credit repair? Credit repair is when you identify the credit bureaus have violated your consumer rights on an account that they're reporting on your credit report, and to do so, you escalate it until it is removed. So in plain English, Bank of America is reporting a late payment, or Bank of America is charged off. You send a letter to Equifax, who's reporting it, stating you don't agree with how this item is being reported. You want an investigation. Equifax responds with a letter stating this account has been verified as accurate. Right there, they have violated your consumer rights. They did not provide information proving that the account was yours by either providing you a copy of the original credit application. They didn't provide information on who did they speak to. What was the method of contact, phone, email, or letter? They violated your consumer rights that you have under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Once you receive that letter, then it is time to escalate it. If you hire somebody to do your credit repair, they will then escalate this until that account has been removed, because the account can be yours. It can be reporting accurately. That is not what credit repair is disputing or trying to fight. It is simply identifying when a credit bureau has violated your consumer rights that you are provided under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Now, if you decide to choose an individual or a company, let's go through the background. Typically for credit repair, there's 2 to 3 rounds before you see major results, meaning the person or company doing your credit repair will dispute the items on your credit report with one or all 3 credit bureaus. And to do so, they will initiate the dispute by mail. Why by mail? Disputing online with the credit bureaus themselves through their website limits how you can submit a dispute, meaning you can't select a USC code, nor can you use other methods to dispute when it's done online. They give you, why don't you believe this account is yours? And a simple statement. The best way to repair someone's credit is to always mail a dispute and then get the response back in writing from the credit bureau so you can escalate. That being said, when you choose or in the process of thinking of choosing an individual or a company, they have to pay for mailing. Mailing, typically to see results on a credit report, takes 2 to 3 rounds. So you're going to mail dispute letters directly to the credit bureaus. To do so, the person doing your credit or the company will have to use mail. Mailing typically costs between $200 to $400 for 3 rounds of disputes, because the person doing your credit repair, it is always recommended to send it certified mail so they can guarantee that the credit bureau received it, and they can start tracking the time frame and put the credit bureau on the clock. What are the other costs? The other costs for someone repairing your credit, they're going to have to look at your credit report for 1 to 3 months. That's called credit monitoring, and it's different than your credit monitoring service. They need to look at your credit report either daily or weekly, looking for any changes to see if they were successful in their initial dispute or their escalation. So let's just round it off, say $100. What are the other costs? The other costs are communication. When you hire someone to do your credit repair, you want to know how it's going. So that individual, that company has to take time to set aside so they can communicate to you what is going on, what they anticipate to occur in this future round, and to explain anything you may have a question about, like a certain dispute. It didn't go the way you thought it, or it went better than you thought, and they need to explain it. So that is communication. That typically costs $200 over a 3-month period, and where they set aside time to speak to you. The last cost is their labor, their time. When you're repairing someone's credit, it typically takes 10 to 20 hours of onboarding. That means I get your credit report, I review it, I think of what methods and strategies I'm going to implement to remove the items that need to be removed so we can repair your credit. Now, over the time frame of 3 months, typically that individual will spend, or that company, 20 to 40 hours for their labor in reviewing your credit reports, devising a strategy, creating the disputes, and escalating it until those items are removed. Hopefully that gives you a little understanding, because I have seen on social media a lot of people losing money going with an inexpensive credit repair company or individual. When you see someone advertise, I can fix all your credit for $250, just remember what I explained to you in the cost of mailing. Cost of mailing will normally equate to $250 to $300 or maybe $400, depending on the credit report and what's on there. Many times when you see someone advertising a low price, they're dealing with volume. They want to get as many clients as possible. That way they can make a profit. The issue with that is you will find out very soon they don't have the time to communicate with you. First of all, they got too many clients. Secondly, they haven't set aside a budget for communication. So that's when you'll find friction, where you'll see, hey, I tried to contact this individual, they didn't respond. Simply put, they never budgeted communication in talking to you. Typically what happens when you get a low-ball credit repair person, they speak to you maybe once or twice. The first time when you pay them, second time they tell you they sent out the disputes, and then it kind of trails off because they have to get more clients. They're not making money. And what you will find is when they are charging a low price, they're typically using one method. And they're betting all their money on that this method is going to be successful in removing most of the stuff off your credit report. The method could be the data breach method, the credit sweep, which are one and the same. It's just an FTC identity theft report. And they're hoping that it works. If it doesn't work, you didn't pay them anything but $250. They don't mind that you leave a bad comment or complain because they didn't really make any money. They made some money, so they moved on because they make money by signing up a lot of people. It doesn't mean a lot of people are going to get their credit repaired, because if they're only using one method, that is not effective credit repair. That's actually not credit repair if they're using a data breach or the credit sweep. That's an identity theft. They're just saying you've been a victim of identity theft and all your bad credit is not yours, and that is not going to work. The reason it's not going to work because they're not going to send it in the mail. They're going to submit it through the CFPB. CFPB has 60 days to reply, and those methods don't work on late payments, charge-offs. It's so many things that method won't work on. They know that because they're just dealing in volume. If you have some items removed, that's what they'll consider successful. But someone who does credit repair or a company that does credit repair will tell you up front a time frame, but they will never give you a guarantee because there'll always be something on a credit report that will be unknown and it's going to require a different method or more effort. So hopefully this explains it. So when you're looking for someone to do your credit or a company, do not look for price, look for effectiveness. That's why I wrote the book, to give you all the strategies you need. And people who've purchased the book have said, wow, I never knew there was so many techniques, so much to know, so much to understand, but you broke it down for me so I could do it. That's why I wrote the book. I've been doing credit repair for 25 years. I can tell you, you can be trapped by price. Do not look for the cheapest. You're looking for someone to change and make an impact on your credit. Have any questions, click the link in the bio. The book is available on my website or at the link at top. Thank you.